Anyone familiar with lucid dreaming knows that wonderful moment when you realize you are dreaming and immediately take off like a bat out of hell, running or flying around, trying to get as much fun and craziness as you can squeeze into those few precious seconds before the inevitable awakening. When you find yourself in a lucid dream, it is natural to be overcome with feelings of elation and excitement, yet if you do not follow a few simple steps, that lucid dream will disappear as quickly as it came. I have seen so many new dreamers fall victim to premature awakenings because they quite simply do not know about dream stabilization. This is why I am writing this tutorial, in the hopes that you can learn dream stabilization effectively from someone who uses it to great effect on a consistent basis. So, what is dream stabilization anyway? Well, as the name implies, it is attempting to stabilize the lucid dream. You utilize dream stabilization techniques immediately after finding yourself in a lucid dream. Okay, so you find yourself in a lucid dream. What should you do? Focus involves relaxing and bringing your attention to the task of dream stabilization. A lot of inexperienced lucid dreamers want to rush into the dream and start doing things very quickly, fearing that the dream will end. You get really excited, your mind is racing, and your thoughts start tripping over one another. You wake up. Stop. Relax. Focus. Know that you do not need to rush because you have plenty of time. If you think that you need to rush because you could wake up at any second, you will. Instead, you want to firmly believe that you have plenty of time because you are in control of the dream. Everyone knows that a house built on solid ground will be much more sturdy than a house built on sand. It is extremely important to take your time and make sure you are doing these dream stabilization techniques properly in order to ensure your lucid dream has a sturdy foundation. If you don't, then it can easily be swept away. When you have a grounded, confident, focused frame of mind, it allows you to have a more stable base to start your lucid dream. This will also result in more dream control and more clarity. Okay, so you took a few seconds to relax and focus. What next? In order to anchor yourself inside your lucid dream, you will use two techniques: hand examination and verbal commands. But first, let's consider this important word. Anchor. It's not just a word, it's more of a symbol or metaphor. His metaphor can be utilized to establish a very strong connection with your dream and prevent premature awakening. You really need to feel the word and appreciate the heaviness of it. You are acknowledging that this dream exists because of you, that you are in full control, and that because you are anchored, the dream cannot end until you are ready to leave it. When you are able to firmly believe this within your lucids, you will find that they last much longer and are more vivid. So, how do you anchor yourself to the lucid dream? Look down at your hands. Hold them close to your face. Take your time when looking at your hands. You should not be thinking about what is happening in the dream world. Only your hands. Do not rush. Know that the more attention you give to your hands, the more clear your dream is going to be when you stop. If you become excited to begin your lucid dream and rush this step, know that you are doing a disservice to yourself. Look at the wrinkles in your hands. Look at the little hairs. Turn them over, examine the other side. While performing the hand examination technique, you should also be using verbal commands at the same time. While examining your hands, say out loud, firmly and confidently, "Stabilize lucidity now." If you are having trouble focusing on the details of your hands or if they look blurry, say firmly, "Increase clarity" or just "Focus now." Once you have stabilized, imagine an anchor connecting you with the dream. Say to yourself, "Anchored in lucidity." Don't just say it, feel it. Once you have examined your hands in full detail for a few moments and used the above verbal commands, put them down and look up. The dream should be crystal clear. Congratulations, you have succeeded at stabilizing and anchoring yourself to the lucid dream. At this point, you are free to proceed. If at any point during your dream things begin to blur even slightly, stop. Whatever you are doing, just stop. Examine your hands again. Repeat the verbal command, "Stabilize lucidity." If you do not feel it stabilizing, try repeating it again, "Stabilize lucidity now." The "now" is added for emphasis. Use this if it doesn't work the first time. Once you have stabilized, look up. If things are clear, proceed. If not, Do it again. His method should be used when you have any level of visibility inside a dream. I use this technique often throughout a lucid dream to prevent waking and achieve crystal clear focus. You will find that there are some dreams you need to stabilize every minute or so, and others where you need to do it less frequently. I might use it several times over the course of a 45-minute dream. The key is just to remember to use it when you find the dream beginning to fade, or if things begin to lose focus. Remember, don't panic. Focus. Hands. Words. Hand examination with verbal commands is the only technique that has worked for me just about every time without fail for many years, therefore I highly recommend it as your go-to method for stabilizing your dream. This isn't just about rubbing your hands together though. This is about stimulating your senses and involves any sort of physical touch sensation. Rubbing your hands together during a lucid dream can help to stabilize the dream, but if you do it too often, you may find that its effectiveness quickly wears off. This can be typical of any technique however, so it is good to mix up your techniques or you may become immune to some of them. If your dream is quickly fading out, try grabbing hold of anything. Any sort of physical sensation, especially when you can feel it and see it with your eyes, is helpful. So grab your shirt, look down at it and see it. Grab something in the environment around you. A doorknob. A tree. Anything. Once you grab something, take a moment to examine it like you examined your hands. Use verbal commands like stabilize lucid now. You can use the hand examination technique with anything else in your environment, so long as it is clear and you can really examine it up close in detail. Hands are usually easiest because they're always right there. Also hands help because you are looking at your dream body, thus reinforcing and strengthening your presence inside the lucid dream. Dream spinning should be used as a last-ditch effort. If you have no visibility and therefore cannot examine your hands, if you find yourself in the void which is just infinite darkness, or if your dream is fading beyond control and even staring at your hands and verbal commands are not working, do not spin wildly about. This is likely to wake you up. It might transport you into a new dreamscape, but the majority of the time it will result in premature awakening or false awakening. Instead of spinning wildly about in circles, try a short, controlled spin. Like a figure skater. Another technique similar to dream spinning is falling backwards. Simply letting go, and allowing yourself to fall. However, don't just let your mind go completely blank or you are likely to wind up back in your own bed. You should be thinking of a new dreamscape that your fall will transport you into. Dream spinning and falling backwards are notorious for landing you in a false awakening. So always perform a reality check after using these techniques. Even if you remain in a dreamscape, it's just good practice. You may think that you have woken up, but really, you have not. So do an RC after every dream spin fall backwards. This is another technique that is useful for getting you out of the void, which is the vast emptiness that you might find yourself floating around in after a lucid dream ends but you have not yet woken up. Simply begin accelerating yourself forward through the blackness. Your goal is to accelerate at such speeds that you will tear through the blackness and find yourself in a new dreamscape. This has worked for me quite a few times, but I've never heard of anyone else doing something similar, so I'm not as quick to recommend it. When using any of the above three techniques, make sure you are thinking that you will land in a new dreamscape. If you just let your mind go completely blank, you are more likely to wake up. Have a new destination in mind. If you perform any of the above three techniques and find yourself in a new dreamscape, or in your bed, the first thing is to do a reality check. You may have landed in a false awakening, which you can turn into a wonderful lucid if you do the reality check and it fails. If you find yourself in a new dreamscape, you should treat this like entering a completely new dream, and your first priority should be anchoring by performing the hand examination technique with verbal commands. What if you do wake up? It's not such a bad thing. In fact, a skilled lucid dreamer knows that you can take advantage of this and use it to attempt to enter another lucid dream with a technique called DEILD. Basically, this allows you to chain lucid dreams together for as long as you can handle it. I say handle it because I have often been able to chain lucids while I nap over and over for up to 2 hours, at which point I become completely exhausted and am not able to continue any longer. The only potential problem with this, however, is that you risk possibly forgetting your earlier lucid dreams. If you practice mindfulness within your lucids though and make an effort to remember things which are meaningful as they are occurring, then this won't be such a problem. When you do finally wake up though, make sure you write everything down in your dream journal. You do not have a valid verification file. Please contact our sales support team to obtain a valid license. Here are a few visualizations, meditations you can do during the day or before bed to aid you in becoming more familiar with the best state of mind to become lucid and utilize these methods for dream stabilization. It is important to train yourself to be prepared for the lucid state of mind. Essentially, being lucid in a dream is the epitome of living in the moment, also known as mindfulness. When we are at work, we fantasize about being on vacation. On vacation, we worry about the work piling up on our desks. We dwell on intrusive memories of the past or fret about what may or may not happen in the future. We need to live more in the moment. Living in the moment, also called mindfulness, is a state of active, open, intentional attention on the present. When you become mindful, you realize that you are not your thoughts. You become an observer of your thoughts from moment to moment without judging them. Mindfulness involves being with your thoughts as they are, neither grasping at them nor pushing them away. Instead of letting your life go by without living it, you awaken to experience. If you make an effort to practice mindfulness in your waking life, you will be more prepared to handle your lucid dreams and also more likely to get lucid in general. Overcoming the tendency for distraction and awakening to the present takes intentionality and practice. Basically, the hand examination technique is a form of concentration practice, whose goal is to focus the attention on a target, such as a hand, that keeps us anchored in the present moment. The target can be a physical object, or more commonly, the breath. We give the mind something consistent to focus on, and this becomes the object of the meditation. Whatever is used as the object for the attention, the aim is to keep the mind focused as often as you remember to do so. As the mind starts to wander, we gently direct the mind back toward the object of attention. Visualization. Anchor yourself inside the dream. Actually feel the word. Anchor. Sense it. You are a part of the dream, get a hold of it. Don't let the dream run away without you. You are anchored to it. The dream cannot disappear until you will it. Don't just think this. Feel it. Know it in your heart. You are in control.